Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's forecast. Today we are talking about a main weather system that's going to bring significant severe weather today, tomorrow, across the central and southern plains, especially Oklahoma. It is looking not so great. The Storm Prediction Center updated their outlook just like 30 minutes ago before the making of this forecast video. We're going to go and skip over the jet stream for now. We're just going to get straight to the dew points. And right now, the warm front is kind of back up in here, just south and southwest of Oklahoma City. Now we are gonna expect moisture to gradually increase, and there is the cold front sitting kind of back up here. Dry line warm front, the triple point is gonna set up across central and southern Oklahoma, where the most intense dew points are expected to be. As this warm front continues to lift, it is going to act as a trigger for supercells, and there is going to be several strong tornadoes likely today. But it's going to continue here. The main low is actually going to be sitting down here, with the warm front continuing and the dry line sitting back here. The triple point is going to be pretty much up in here, where these storms are going to fire and will be the strongest. Continuing on into Sunday as well, moisture gradually decreases for a bit, and then tomorrow, the low pretty much continues to sit where it's been sitting at, down there in southwest Oklahoma and northwest Texas. And the dry line sets up again down to the south, and continuing off into the afternoon and evening. The dry line gets set up pretty much in western Oklahoma, southwestern Kansas, central Texas as well. Right now, there's low to mid 60s dew points probable, and down in southern Oklahoma, mid upper 60s and even low 70s are possible. And then going into Monday, early Monday morning, this storm system should start to push everything off to the east northeast. For the severe weather, we are expecting Monday and Tuesday. Looking at storm energy and instability for a mixed layer Cape. Cape right now is going to be building throughout the day. This is going to be about 3 to 4 o'clock p.m. Very noticeable, a very high amounts of energy in southern Oklahoma. These are going to be 4,000 to 4,500 joules per kilogram of Cape. That is a lot of energy, and any storms that go up in this environment will be very, very strong, capable of producing, again, strong tornadoes and very large hail, potentially up to softball size, maybe even larger with the strongest updrafts. And going throughout the day, you can clearly see the storms start to take off and take advantage of their environment. They are in central southern Oklahoma. And continuing on into Sunday as well. All that instability gets shoved down to the south temporarily before it gets risen back up to the north for the afternoon and evening. And that's the wrong one. And we do have a lot of unstable air again for Sunday. 2,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram of Cape here and there. However, the cap, that lid, is in place and it is much stronger. So personally, I think today will be the worst of the days. However, any storms that can go off the dry line, anything that can go off the dry line will be strong and will be able to produce tornadoes, some strong and very large hail, tennis to baseball size. Looking into future reflectivity, again, right now, throughout the day, moisture is going to continue to build. This is about 3, 4 o'clock. Some cells try to pop up in Kansas and Oklahoma off the cold front and dry line, and eventually going into 5 o'clock here, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, we start to see the explosion of storms across Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. And it's noticeably here in central, southern, and eastern Oklahoma. This is where we think the storms are going to be strongest. They go up in the triple point. However, anything that can go up in and around Oklahoma City, either to the west, south, or east, can all certainly be powerful and strong. and eventually it's going to cluster up and move to the southeast, where it should eventually weaken and fizzle out. And going into early Sunday morning, the warm front continues to go to potentially fire off some storms. These shouldn't be that bad. Maybe some wind, hail, if those can get severe. And going into Sunday afternoon, again, very clearly, a whole bunch of little cells try to pop up through the cap. Northwest Oklahoma along the Kansas-Oklahoma border, where it's closest, quote unquote, closest to the low pressure system. This is where the highest chance, in my opinion, for storms could be. However, again, any of these little blips you see in that circle, if any of those can fire off, they can be dangerous, produce a large hail and damaging winds, and of course a couple tornadoes, some potentially strong. However, it looks like only one or two cells fire, and that's pretty much the expectation for tomorrow, Sunday. But again, if anything of any of these can take off into other additional cells, these will all be traveling east or northeast ish. So if anything goes up central Oklahoma, like west of I-35, we'll have to watch that very carefully. Going into the Storm Prediction Center, a level 4 moderate risk has been made primarily in southeastern Oklahoma, and a surrounding enhanced risk around that as well. And there is a level 2 slight risk that goes from about the Kansas Nebraska border all the way down to northwest Louisiana. Let's go ahead and go into the tornado threat, and there is a SIG 2 threat primarily in Oklahoma. That's where the triple point is located. That's where the strongest storms are expected, and this will be orientated southeast of Oklahoma City. And luckily, this is a bit more of a rural area than it is across like Oklahoma City, for example. Obviously, however, still EF2, EF3 plus tornadoes are looking more likely in that black outlined area, that thicker black outlined, and EF2 plus can be possible in the black dashed outline area, which includes Dallas, Oklahoma City, and just barely Shreveport, Louisiana there. And a much larger 2% risk does outline from almost just about Lincoln, Nebraska, down to Wichita, Kansas, Woodward, Oklahoma, and down to Wichita Falls, Texas. So, watching any of these areas, all these are favorable for strong, severe thunderstorms and tornadoes as well. The wind risk, there is a 30% unhatched risk in there. This is where we think they're going to merge and kind of bow out. 60, 70, maybe as high as 75-mile-per-hour winds are certainly possible. There is no hatched risk, so I wouldn't go higher than 70, 75 miles per hour, but there could very much be uh, several instances of damaging winds. Going into the hail risk, we do have this black outlined area SIG 2. That is the max significant or SIG outline for hail. Now, this is, again, primarily in southeastern Oklahoma, and there's that 45% risk. In that thicker black outline area, we are expecting up to softball plus size hail. And on the outside of that, up to baseballs are certainly possible from Wichita down to Dallas and over to Shreveport. Any storms that go up in this environment, again, will be very favorable for baseball to softball size hail. I will be watching this, and any storms that go up later will be very strong, and I will be going live later today after I do have to go to an aunt's house to do a few things. But I'll be watching everything very closely, and a live stream will be on later today.